television version of your favorite newspaper supplement, the Hindu Metroplus. This week, we not only have a famous and interesting Chennai personality for you, but we also managed to catch senior reporter of Metroplus, Divya Kumar, interviewing him. Our personality this week is Indian Davis Cup player and a thorough gentleman at the game, Ramesh Krishnan.
And beaten, tennis greats like Edberg and Connors and Pat Cash, Wilander, that epic at the Australian Open in '89, right? You've had some great battles with the likes of McEnroe. Whom to you was one of the best opponents to play with, if you had a list of the people you enjoyed playing the most?
Well, I don't know about the question best opponents because all the players you said have all been tough opponents. Yeah. But I think the first great player that I really faced, I would say in that era, was Bjorn Borg. I think his record really stood out. Okay. So among all the years that I played, I would consider Bjorn Borg and Pete Sampras as the
you played Sampras as well?
Also, yes.
Must have been towards the end.
Towards my end of my career and as he was just starting out.
That's what the toughest for you to play styles.
Well, I've always found Ivan Lendl very tough to play against. I think my style of play or his style of play just didn't
They were completely opposite in a
Well,
sense,
he was a nightmare for many players to play, and I was one of those. It's just that I felt, no, I couldn't serve big enough to really unsettle him, and no, he was a bit too overpowering.
You had a beautiful game, great touch at the net, amazing angles, volleys. Do you sometimes feel like you came a generation too late when the power game was taking over?
Well, it's a question of how well you can adapt. No, you need to keep adapting and fine-tuning yourself. So, I don't think you need to, no, I wouldn't look at it, no, you are playing at the time you are, so there's no point in second guessing.
But you had some wonderful matches anyway. What do you stand out as some of the most memorable matches for you?
Well, Davis Cup matches always, of course, stand out, and no, we had a good run in Davis Cup in the 80s, reaching the final in 87, the semi-final in 93.
You were always one of the stalwarts of the Indian Davis Cup team. I mean, what was it about Davis Cup that inspired you, that brought out the best in you?
We Indians, of course, have had a good tradition. There are people before me who had performed well in Davis Cup, so we were just carrying on that tradition. And that I think Davis Cup and Wimbledon meant a little bit extra to us. I think the Indian audience, these were the two events that they really focused on. So we in our turn also gave it that little bit of extra attention.
You were always considered one of the absolute gentlemen of the game. Was that important to you, upholding that set of values?
Well, again, I think bulk of the players from India, when you see, I think we're all well behaved. I think our society demands that. So I don't think it was anything special.
You were part of the Brat Pack. I mean, you played at the same time as McEnroe and all these other people, but you always
Well, again, it all depends on your upbringing. I think McEnroe is from New York, so there's a little bit of New York in him. I think we in India definitely won't look kindly on that kind of behavior.
So when did you start playing tennis as a child? How young were you when you first took to the court and first held a racket?
I can't even remember because I'm sure I've come as a toddler onto this court and had a bat and ball in my hand. Because where we are sitting, there used to be a tennis court here. A clay court here many years ago. My father had learned to play on these courts.
Did you always know it was going to be tennis? Did you ever consider another career at any time?
My grandfather was very keen on tennis. He was the one who made sure that we all played tennis. And also our whole life revolved around a tennis court. Even back in the 60s, men, even the ladies in our family used to play tennis. By the time I got into high school, I was doing well in tennis. I was representing India in Davis Cup. So my education, everything was geared towards that. So I really wouldn't know what I would have ventured into.
You had a stellar career in juniors, but it couldn't have been easy, traveling that much at that age. Did your parents go with you when you went to Wimbledon and all of that?
Well, as a matter of fact, when I was 17 and 18, they did travel with me to Wimbledon. But the thing was, since I was 14, I had the opportunity, the exposure. So it is not that I was there the first time. I'd already had some 4-5 years of experience, and which is what everybody else had anyway.
So what drew you into coaching at the end of your career?
Again, it was a natural progression. I'd finished playing. I'd visited so many tennis centers, so it was always a dream to start a tennis center here. So about early to mid 90s when I finished playing, now I was able to get this off, and I think there are enough people who have been kind enough to support me in this venture. So now that's been going on well.
Your daughter plays tennis, yes?
Daughters, both of them play. Yes, they do. Both of them are away in the US. They both play for the universities there. They're part of their tennis teams. So they're combining both tennis along with academics, which US of course has a very good system for them. So they are enjoying their experience very much.
And any plans of going pro or making?
No, they're not quite at that level. They tried a little bit in the juniors, but found that it was beyond them. But no, I'm glad that they're persevering and that that they enjoy the grind of it.
And I'm sure they're going to do wonderfully. I met your daughter the last time, and I'm sure she's having a wonderful time in the US. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. My pleasure.
I'm curious to see whether it will be a case of like father, like daughter. Won't be surprised at all if it is. Tennis has always run in the family. Stay tuned. On the other side, we give you a glimpse of a Madras that has stood the test of time.